My name is Jill. It is a gorgeous Sunday afternoon. I believe we're expecting some thunderstorms, possibly hail here in Calgary, Alberta. This morning I got out for an outdoor workout, some stairs, running. It was gorgeous outside, vitamin D, much needed. But today I'm going to work on some rehabilitation exercises, and we do place a lot of demands on the hips, glutes, lots of joints in the knees and the feet. Today we are going to work on just some activation exercises and some core stability. I am going to be doing a workout of a physiotherapist. I have this logged in on YouTube, so I'm going to be following along for the first time. I thought I would do it on my own first, but why not just dive right into it? So I have a rubber band here, if you can see it. I just recently threw out one of my elastic bands because it lost its elasticity. I can't even say it, my goodness. All right, so I want to give you an analogy. So if you want to consider the tendons and ligaments in your major joints, like the hip joints, and a lot of us will, maybe jump into a yoga class and we tend to overstretch some of the muscles that we shouldn't be. When I teach stretching, I always say you want to stretch to the point of mild tension, definitely not medium or any jerk motions, because basically what happens if you overstretch your tendons and ligaments, you're going to get little micro tears, and those micro tears, once they occur, it's really hard to fire up those muscles, and especially when you're putting high impact and high pressure, high loads on those muscles, your muscles are going to have a challenge to activate because they're overstretched. So enough chatting. I've got a little bit of a setup here. It is optional, it's just tape, so I'm going to get this program started and let's see how we do. Thanks for joining me. No music today.
Balance on one foot. Everything that we're going to do is we're going to be trying to balance, and then we're going to get down on the ground and do some different planking positions, things like that, to incorporate functional strength into our program. So we're balancing on our right foot, and we're just going to mirror what I do. We're going to reach out, touch our toe, and come back up. All balance. Make sure that we're not stepping onto that foot. Just touch, come back up. The leg you stand on is bending. This is teaching single leg strength in the frontal plane. It's really working on foot control. If you're at home doing this, the best thing to probably do is take the shoe off, and then you really get locked in and you're unable to use your shoe for stability. 2 more. And we're going to stay on this foot. Now we're going to stay there. You'll feel the quad burning. You're going to feel your foot burning a lot as we go through. And then we're coming up and we're just touching out to the front. Try not to let your leg drag in. You're just touching out to the front. Tap the heel, come back up. No stepping onto the foot. You're just touching the heel and back up. This takes away a lot of the compensations that a lot of runners will have by using a stronger leg. So now we're going to stand in balance. So really feel that foot starting to turn on. Now we're going to be working on reaching backwards. Just touching the toe, come back up. Make sure you get your chest out in front of you. And that really turns on that back butt muscle of what you're standing on. Feel the extrinsics, your calf, your outside calf, inside calf, even the arch of the foot starting to turn on. And you get a little off balance. What you might be finding, I want everyone to keep going, is that as you reach back, you start to spin and kind of lose your balance. That's from poor stability in and around the hip and the knee and the foot and ankle. So we need to make sure we're being nice and stable. Good. And we're going to stand tall, still balancing on that one foot. And you can see that even my balance needs a little work. We're going to raise our left hand in the air. You're on your right leg, left hand in the air. You're going to reach back and across and all the way back up. Stay with me. Don't go too fast. And now while you're doing this, everything is slow and controlled. You don't want to get in the habit of just up and down, up and down. Slow, pause, and come back up. Keep going. The importance of going a little bit slower is that it really challenges your balance and your stability. If you go too fast, it's like, I always compare it to riding a bike 2 miles an hour versus 20 miles an hour. If you're climbing a hill real slow and you get real wobbly, still balance on that right side, and you get real wobbly, it's because you don't have the speed to sustain stability. You go 20 miles an hour, you're a little bit more stable. So a lot of times people just kind of rush through this and kind of swing through, and they use their speed for their stability. We want to pause and come back up. This is really loading that right glute, also that whole right chain, as it starts to get a little bit tougher to do. One more. Good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take both hands, we're going to reach out and touch out to the side. That right leg should really be burning by now.
Definitely burning.
If it's not, take your shoe off, or reach a little bit further, or maybe don't even touch your foot on the backside, but you should really start to feel that arch and the foot you're standing on burning. 3 more.
Whew.
Great. We're still standing there. We're going to come back to this leg. Let's go to the other side. Nice, easy balance. Now pay attention. Do you have a balance deficiency from side to side? So now we're just touching the toe out. Come back up. Don't let your knee track way inside your foot. If anything, it goes towards the big toe and come back up. No stepping onto the foot. You just touch. This is called a balance and reach. So we're balancing and reaching. Really working the single leg strength on that left side. One more. Good. To the front. Stay with me with the repetitions. We don't want to go too fast. And don't feel like you have to reach too far, because if you reach too far, you're going to end up stepping. This isn't a lunge. This is a balance and reach. Good. Stay balanced. Now what we're going to do, you're standing on your left, and take that right leg, and we're going to reach straight back and back up. And as we go through these and we get into the higher weeks or the higher functioning boot camps we have on our website, we're going to incorporate our movements, weights, steps, things like that. You can see I lost my balance. That's really working the glute on that side, foot and ankle. Remember, we take the other leg away and it really challenges your core and stability inside the hip. If you're reaching and you're spinning, you're missing the stability inside there. So we're still balanced. Now we're reaching back and across. Take your arm in your hand and come back up. And you're going to raise that arm up. This is our speed skater exercise. Really good for glute med strengthening, where the last one we just did was glute max. That's a pusher. This is a pelvic stabilizer. Foot should be burning a little bit. Two more. One more. Good. Still standing there. Single leg balance. This is great for your balance. Should be sweating a little bit. Now we're going to we're still on our left leg. We're going to take our right leg. Both hands reach out to the front. We tap out to the side and come back. We're reaching back at a 45-degree angle. Both hands come out to the front. 5 more. Good, we're standing there. Oh, make sure you maintain your balance. We're going to switch feet. Stay in balance. So what we're going to do is we're going to lock the knee perfectly straight. We're standing on our right. Unlock it. So just as a little bit of bend. This bend is going to stay consistent throughout the whole time. If we lock the knee perfectly straight, we're not using our muscles. We're kind of just hanging out on the joint. So a little bit of bend that turns everything on. Then what I want you to do is take your chest, tip it forward a little bit. We're going to take our left foot. We're going to reach it out. We're going to bring it across, out to the side, back, and across. Nothing's moving. It's like you're touching corners of a box or a rectangle. And staying balanced on one side. Go slow. Make sure you can balance. You shouldn't be all over the place. If this is really tough, go to a smaller box. Don't feel like you have to reach as far. Two more. You can pause at each spot. This is the last one. Yeah, lost my balance. Good, now we're staying to balance. Let's lock the knee straight again. Now what we're going to do is let's bend it. We're going to take both arms out to the side like we're going to give someone a big hug. We're going to unlock our knees so that we're standing on a little bit of a flexed knee. And then what we're going to do is a single leg deadlift. You're going to kick your back leg up. You're going to come forward with the chest and then pull yourself all the way back up into standing. Now the key here is not to flex the spine. You're trying to flex from the hip. So you should feel your hamstrings pull as your foot's burning. And that's going to be your restriction going further. And then you pull yourself back up 10 times. That's 3. Good, and we're standing and balancing. Foot should really be burning, that's important. Remember, we're trying to maximize our foot strength. It's the first thing that comes in contact with the ground. If it can't control any of our force, then, everything else is shot. So we're balancing here. The next one is actually a twisting reach. So we did one where we touched the toe out, but now what we're gonna do is we're gonna rotate and use our heel. Foot should be burning pretty good because we've been standing on it for a while. We're building the strength, we're building the stability inside that foot, which prevents stress fractures, shearing. So now we're touching the heel out and come back up. A little bit of balance issue there. Touch the heel, come back up. Touch the heel, come back up. Make sure you open the pelvis. Open the pelvis. Good, 5 more. Not the best counter. Let's do 1 more. Good, and we're staying and balancing. Now what we're going to try to do is staying on that foot. We're going to try to lift the heel, balance for a second, and come back down and rest. Lift the heel, balance, 3, 2, 1, and down and rest. Really feel that burn in the foot. Those are those muscles that don't get worked very often. They get worked more on trail running, things like that. For us road runners that don't spend any time strengthening our foot, this is where a lot of injuries come from, is weak feet. Come back up, balance, and down. I have shoes on, which makes it a little bit easier for this one. If you're all over the place, you might want to throw your shoes on for this portion, just so you can complete the task. If you're all over the place, it's not going to help you at all. 3, 2, 1.
Everything's burning here.
1 more. And up. 3, 2, 1. Good. Let's switch feet. Shake that right leg out. You did a great job. Really pay attention when you're going from side to side. What do the balance differences feel like? Do you feel like you're really strong on one side versus the other? Does that indicate that you've had injuries in the past on that side? It could be. You can link it really to injuries on either side. But all we're trying to do here is maximize foot strength, and we're going to progress these as we go through different boot camps. So now we're starting our box touches. Remember, you got a little bit of bend in the knee. Make sure you're not doing semicircular circles. Just there, pause, corner, out to the front, and across. Keep going. Should be wiggling. Foot's doing its best to keep your foot on the ground. Hip, core muscles, everything's firing. I don't know what that was. There we go. Everything's doing its job to keep us balanced. These are exercises that need to be done consistently to maintain that foot strength. Because what happens when you're running is the foot is put through the same stress millions upon millions of times, and you don't use the muscles differently, and they get really used to that certain contraction, and you need to turn it up and change it up a little bit. Most runners don't like the strength training. Good, go ahead and balance. So, you incorporate this once or twice a week. Once you get through the full program, and you can chop it up, do 1 a week, and that'll last you 12 weeks. This is a great way to maintain strength through the season. Good. So now we're going to bend that leg a little bit, arms out to the side, tipping down, kick that back leg up, and come back.
Find your focal point 1 to 2 meters in front. That helps for balance. Bring that back toe.
You should feel the restriction. Pull behind the knee. That's the thing that's stopping you. You shouldn't be flexing a lot. Try to keep your spine, everything straight. You're flexing from that hip.
Back toe pointing down, square hip.
Good, 3 more. Remember, speed matters, slow and controlled. Good, last one, now stand in balance. Now we're going to do our reach out to the side. For this one, I'm actually going to show you on this disc that we have changes the surface. You can use a pillow at home, or we have these discs on our website. And really what it's for is to make the ground unstable. So I'm going to show you. You can see that I'm already all over the place. We're balancing here, touching the heel, come back up and balance. Stay with me. Don't keep on rushing out to the side. Touch the heel, pull yourself back up and balance. If you have a pillow at home, you can try this. But if you can't do this barefoot, you shouldn't be trying to do this and try to jump levels, because it's always about quality movement, not quantity. We want to make sure that you have the stability to do these kind of activities before you just make them too hard and set yourself up for failure. Teaching our foot in this exercise to control that pronation through mid-stance. Extremely important. If you can't control there from the hip, the knee, and the ankle, you get dragged inwards. Create a bunch of problems. 3 more. 2, 3. Good. We're going to go back. We're still standing on our left foot. We're going to come up towards the toe and balance. If you're doing, one of these, you need to work on your balance a little bit. This is something you can easily do brushing your teeth. Go down and rest. You should feel that in the arch. Good. Up. Hold and balance. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Down and rest. 3 more. Up and balance. 3, 2, 1. Down and rest. Up and balance. I think we got 2 more. 3, 2, 1. Down and rest. Try to maintain that balance. If you need the arms out to the side, use them for now and try to bring them in. Up. 3, 2, 1. Good. Stand in balance. So we're going to go work into a lunge set and give the foot a break. So this is going to be our lunge set is going to be working on loading the muscles differently. Think about lunging, doing this all the time, and just coming down with the knee. We need to make sure we're adding different movements, 3-plane movements. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be lunging forward with our left leg, taking our right arm, crossing over, and coming back. All the way over. Now I'm going to have you hold it. Lunge forward with your left leg. Hold it out there. If your right arm isn't forward, coming across to that left leg, you're doing it wrong. You're probably here. Switch it up, and then come back up. Lunging with the left, reaching with the right, turning, keep going. Really important you do this the right way. This is probably one of our most butchered exercises. If you want to look at it individually, we have it set up in the hip section or the lunge section of the strengthening portion of our website. Good. 3 more. Good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do the same exact thing on the other side. Lunging with the right, twisting to the right. Left arm should be coming forward if you're lunging with the right leg. Most butchered exercise, you have to make sure you're doing this right or you're not getting any benefit. If you want to give a little bit of resistance, a medicine ball can be held. 3 more. Good. Switching back to the other side. We're going to lunge like we just did. Left leg forward, right arm's coming across, but then we're going to step all the way back. And you're going to lunge backwards under your left leg, twisting the opposite way. So forward with the left leg, right arm comes forward, all the way back, left arm comes forward. Like we're running in place, Terminator style. Go ahead. All the way through. We're going to keep going. I'm going to tell you how most people cheat here. If you're not turning the wrong way, that's the first thing that you're doing right. You want to make sure you're kind of staying narrow with this. If you're coming way out here, you're increasing your base of support. You want to try to stay on a tightrope. You're going to find that it's tough to do because we lose this rotation over time. Good. Last one. Forward and back. So we have that going. Now we're going to switch to the other side. Lunging with the right, turning to the right. So your left arm's coming forward. We're going to lunge there. Pause for a second. Right leg's forward, left hand is forward, lunging all the way back. Right hand's forward. Lost my balance. Left leg's forward. Go ahead. Remember, make sure you're going the right way. Keep yourself narrow. Most people butcher this. We're making these harder as we go through the use of medicine balls, dumbbells, things like that. There's 3 variations of this lunge. This is the first one. One more. Come up and balance. Okay, we're going to get into our next set, jumping jack matrix. There's 3 different planes of movement, side to side, front to back, twisting, turning. So all we're going to do is the easiest way. Let's start off with our standard jumping jacks, out to the side. You want to keep your stance time short. You don't want to do one of these. We're trying to load the calf on and off. There's little fibers in there that are made to not use energy to give you that elastic recoil so you can pop right off of it. No active pushing. If you want to use the arms, you can. We're going 5 more seconds, and then we're switching forward. Good. Forward jumping jacks. Use your arms, twist from side to side. Keep going. Okay. In and out. Point the toes out, point the toes in. It might be helpful to flip your hands over. You're going to find this is probably the hardest thing for you to do, to get those hips externally rotated and internally rotated. You'll get better over time. Use the hands if you need them. This will really burn up those feet, make you stronger. 5 seconds. Good, rest. You should feel that in the foot and the ankle. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go back to lunges. Let's give the foot a break. We're going to be lunging with our left, reach the right hand up, and arc over a little bit and come back. Lunge with the left, reach with the right, come back, keep going. Want to make it harder, throw a dumbbell in your right hand. Sometimes it's just body weight, that's all that's needed. We're not trying to bulk up here, we're trying to control our body weight. Runners are skinny for a reason, they don't carry around a lot of muscle. Body weight's enough. 3 more. Good, switching side, lunging with the right, reaching with the left overhead, and back. One more. Good, switching back, lunging with your left, reaching with your right hand. Come out and hold it. Right hand's up in the air, left leg is forward. You're reaching over that left leg. Then you're going to step all the way back and switch hands. So now you're back on your left foot, left hand is up in the air. Keep going. Frontal plane lunging. This is a motion your body uses. We're getting our spine mobilized, our hips mobilized, our pelvis moving. This keeps us loose, keeps us running, stops us from getting injuries, or even heals injuries that we've been dealing with. Keep going. 3 more. Think of all the stability you're getting around that right side, the balance as you come through. Last one. Good, come up. We're standing on our left foot, lunging with our right. So you're going to lunge, hold it, reach your left hand up in the air. That's what we're looking for posture-wise, and then come back up the straight. We're not going backwards yet. Lunge with the right, reach with the left.
Keep that torso tall.
Good, standing up straight. We're lunging with our right again. So we're going to lunge right, reach with the left. Then you're going to lunge all the way back. Reach up with the right. Reach back with the right. So left hand, right hand. Left hand. Good, keep going. 2 more. 1, 2. Great. So there's a lot more that we do as far as working through these weeks, but now we're going to take it down to the ground. We're going to show you a lot of our functional strengthening on the ground. This is where we turn it up a little bit, and you're going to really start to pour some sweat. We're really focusing on our strength without our feet on the ground, which really maximizes your core strength from the rib cage down to the hips. So I have a pad just for my elbows. We're going to come up, we're going to go through the different positions. This is going to get much harder in later weeks. We're going to take you through the positions so you can get an idea of what we're talking about. Pay attention to the verbiage because it's very important. We're going to come up to a standard plank. When we're doing this, no butt up in the air. Keep holding your plank, and no, barely being off the ground with your pelvis. You got to keep everything up nice and tall. This is the standard plank that we do. You can go wide legs, narrow legs, wide legs, narrow legs. We do side planks, coming up to the right. We're coming up with the left hand. We're going to hold that plank. From there, we're going to take the left leg up 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Good. Back down to our standard plank. Remember, we get wide legs, go ahead. Narrow legs, come back. Let's reach up to the left side, or with the right hand. 1, 2, 3. Back down to prone plank. We're holding it. Remember, we have wide legs, go ahead. Narrow legs, come back in. Okay, we can do that singly. Left leg out, right leg in, left leg in. Come down and rest. So those are our plank positions. Really get the heart rate up. Very important to make sure that you have the form of the plank down. If you're not doing the right form, everything else is just going right down the tube. So we're going to go through that again real quick, and we're going to show you 2 other positions before we call it a wrap. We're up, wide leg, and we're going narrow legs, both in, good. Right leg out, left leg in, right leg in. Reach up with the left hand, come back in, reach up with the right hand, hold it, come back down, and we're holding, back down. Those are our plank positions. We do a lot of variations, leg reaches, arm reaches, things like that. So you get the idea there. Things are going to build, especially in week 3 and 4, once we get rolling with a lot of our on-the-ground stuff. You need to walk before you can run. You need to crawl before you can walk. So we're coming back up. From here, we go up to our push-up position. We're holding our push-ups. Same thing, wide legs, narrow legs. Here, we don't need our pad. We can go narrow arms, wide arms. Narrow arms, wide arms. Okay, so we're here, we're narrow. Thumbs should be touching, feet should be touching.
No arching
Keep both
the back.
legs out, walk both arms out.
Pelvis.
Now we're really wide. Now we're going to come back narrow with everything one at a time. Wide with the arms, wide with the legs, narrow with the legs, narrow with the arms, thumbs touching. We can reach up with our right hand, balance. We can come back down. Holding that, we're narrow with everything. We can reach up with our left hand, coming back down, narrow with everything. Remember, wide legs, narrow legs. We also can go wide legs, reach up with the right hand. Keep with me. Reach up with the left hand, our legs are wide. Really getting a lot of thoracic mobility with this. Reaching tall with that left hand, come back in. Let's go down onto our knees. We do different quadruped reaches, where you're going to flex both feet, put your feet on the ground, knees are underneath your hips, hands are underneath your shoulders. We're going to reach out with the right hand and left leg, and we're going to balance. Good, come back in, switch sides. Left leg, right arm. And in. Other side.
Keep breathing.
And back in. Other side.
Tummy in tight.
In.
Curl the
So we'll be
pelvis
going
under.
through all of these. If you need cushions for your knees, make sure you're getting them. Let's go up to our next position. Our last position is going to be our 4-point stance. Our knees are underneath our hips. We pick ourselves right up from there. We're looking from the side a little bit. This is what we're looking at, 4-point stance alignment. A lot of stability happening through our hips. From here, we can reach up with our left hand. We can do the same thing to the other side, reaching up with the right hand. Coming back down, holding that position. We can pick one leg up and balance. We can switch, pick your left leg up and balance. Good, both, everything on the ground. Let's do some leg reaches. You're gonna take your left leg, keep your butt down. If this is coming up, we need to work on that strength a little bit. Keep your butt down. We're gonna reach back and out with the left leg, come back up. 3 times, 2, 3. Switch sides, reaching back and out with the right leg. 1, 2, 3. Good. Hold it there. Walk it back out to push-up position. Everything's narrow. Coming down, prone plank, coming down and resting. We get a lot more into that groundwork in day 2. That gives you a little bit of a teaser. A lot of our standing stuff with a little bit into the ground. The ground stuff is so important, and that's how we start this camp.
All right, so that was just a segment of some of the activation, stability, mobility exercises for the tendons, ligaments, and your core strength and balance. And it was also about that rebound, that elastic recoil. So when you stretch something, it needs to contract. And if your muscles and tendons and in the joints are overstretched, you're not going to get that responsiveness. So these are some phenomenal exercises. Please drop a comment below. Tell me how you did. Now this exercise in particular is designed for runners, but with the high impact and all the lunges, squats that we do in the program that I teach, this is another great pairing. And like he says, if you're doing maintenance, I know it's often a challenge to get all of these programs in throughout your program, but if you're doing these on a consistent basis, you're just going to have more success. Thank you for joining me. I do recommend a few stretches, some down dogs, calf stretches, hamstrings, and just allowing all that stress that built up in the exercise to kind of melt off your body. Thanks for joining me.